Hey there, it's Ashley, and this is the Abundant Soul Podcast. In today's episode, Steph and I get into the complexities of finding one's authentic rhythm. From morning routines, to the struggle of balancing work and personal time, to the challenges of self-sabotage in managing a schedule. Yes, that can be a real thing. Both Steph and I recognize the need for mindfulness and self-care in navigating daily life. It's just not always that easy to do. In this episode, we also discuss the things that have changed or shifted as we enter our 40s and how life is a little different than it used to be in past decades. For example, meeting friends and being out late on a Friday night has now shifted into morning coffee or brunch meetups. This discussion we get into dives into the importance of understanding your own individual rhythm and the need for flexibility in our schedules. Let's begin.
Good morning.
Good morning. Bonjour.
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 I should start saying that.
I know. You did for a little bit, and then I was like, oh, yeah.
And then I forgot. Like, things comes and go in my mind. It's like, oh.
It's all good. Sometimes it's a full station up there at the train station in the mind.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, I missed that one today.
How have your morning been?
Oh, well, that's a very interesting and timely topic because I am currently struggling with my mornings and figuring out my routine. So it's been very challenging. Right now I am wearing different hats, I'll call it, as far as jobs, which I love all of the jobs that I'm doing. However, it's very difficult to juggle. So I'm trying different ways, like maybe I spend my first 2 hours after I wake up and get ready doing this job, and then I go to my full-time job. But then I get frustrated that it feels to me like I don't have much me time anymore. But then it also is like, well, who's making your schedule here, lady? Like you. So why aren't you factoring in your own me time? But it's almost like prioritizing things ahead of me time. You know, because for a while I had a really good groove of like my perfect day would be to wake up and like my little alarm clock or on my phone is like this soft tone. So it's like do 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 do, and it gets like louder instead of like that buzzing like rah, rah, rah. So I feel like I wake
think we
up.
have the same.
Good. Yes, I read somewhere it's like be mindful of the alarm clock setting that you use because your nervous system will freak out if you have that like nuclear meltdown alarm going on.
I resonate because my husband, he has that and he rarely uses it. But, you know, recently actually, he had to wake up earlier than I had to, and his is a song that is very loud, and I jump. I jump. This, you know, a gentle music will wake me up. Like, I don't have to have it like full-on loud music, but he does, and I'm like, my heart went up to the roof. So, yeah, I resonate with that.
Imagine if you did that every morning. And I wonder if there's couples that are like that, or, you know, your sleeping situation is one person needs that, like, I need that loud thing because I'm a deep sleeper, or like, that's the way I wake up. And then the other person's like, well, now you just like, now I'm all like frazzled for my day and like starting my day like on alert. Yeah.
That's a good question. I would love to hear if any listeners if it's, you know, what is happening to them.
Right.
I never experienced that, except on a rare case. But I'm the early riser, so.
Yeah, my alarm goes off first too. 5:55. Of course, it's an
Same.
angel number. Yeah, really? Oh, good. I'm like, this sounds good. I'm going to set it for an angel number and wake up at 5:55. And then a lot of times my body is like, hit that snooze button. We could sleep a little.
I don't snooze.
You don't?
Never.
What?
I never Yeah, no, I don't.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
Never
so
hit the snooze button ever. When the morning, when it's harder to get up, I just, lay in my bed, but I open my eyes. I don't let
okay.
myself, never snooze. So I will stay in bed, like open my eyes, and then I will sit on my bed to
Even if
allow,
you're tired.
even if I'm tired, I don't snooze.
All right, I'm gonna take that as like my own challenge to work on because my snooze is set to a random number. It's like 9 minutes. I don't know where I got that from, but it'll give me 9 minutes, and so I'll like do this half awake calculation in my head. I'm like, yeah, I got 9 minutes, okay, and then this it'll come back, and then I'll just reach for the snooze. And sometimes I hit that thing like 7, 8 times, and I'm like, why did you even set your? I know, I
Oh my
know.
God.
Steph just gave me this look like. I know. And it's like, why did I even set the alarm for 5:55? So I know we had an episode on sleep, but I think it's just like when I wake up in the morning, I feel like my little bed and sheets and pillows are like the sweetest they've ever been. And they're like, oh, aren't you so cozy? Like, don't you have 9 more minutes for us? And
I
I'm
have
like,
this feeling when I go to bed. That's when I have
ooh.
that. I think I mentioned it during our sleep episode where when I'm going to bed, it's like giggling and I'm like, oh, you are so soft and so smooth. And I'm like, I love that. And in the morning, it's okay, now it's time to go. Because in my mind, you snooze for what, 5, 10 minutes? So you never have time to go in that deep state. So you get more and more and more tired the more you snooze. So I would rather push my alarm by 30 minutes and not have me wake up by the alarm. So for example, when I do insomnia, then I would push my alarm by half an hour or the maximum that I can push myself because I still have time for some me time. I could sleep much longer, but I don't want to because I also appreciate my morning. And I think that's one of the key too is when you get up, or at least when I get up, I know that I'm getting up for something that I like. So sometimes I think that's the key for me to be able not to snooze because the more I snooze, the less I have some me time. And my morning is very planned, like military, because I don't have much time. So usually after 1 minute of the time where my alarm rings, I'm up. And when it's more difficult, it's 5 minutes. But I never snooze back. I lay in bed. My eyes are open. So I can adjust. And then when I'm ready, I will sit. That's when I'm usually exhausted. That's when I do that. And then I get up and I do my thing. So I have this transition before being like, oh my God, it's time to get up and you throw it. So I'd rather either push my alarm to a good 30 or 40 or 45 minutes more than being awake every 10 minutes because usually I don't know what happened. When you do insomnia during the night, you can fall back asleep. However, in the morning, it's the perfect setting to fall back asleep within 1 minute. Like, it's really weird how that happens. And, I mean, I've done it, I don't know, when I was maybe 15. I snoozed once or twice, and never again.
Wow.
So I rarely have done that in my life because the consequence after, it's like I screwed my entire day.
It's so interesting because I'm seeing that I'm the opposite of you. That I like, even though I love my bed and my bedroom is like my little sanctuary and it's so comfy, I will like just stare at that bed like when it's bedtime and I'm like, no, there are things I want to be doing. I want to go lay out on the couch and read a book, or like I want to work on this. And it's just how you said your bed is like so inviting, like, oh, like I feel like I'm so resistant to go to bed, and I'm trying to go to bed earlier so that when my alarm goes off, it's not, I don't feel like I'm lacking sleep or like that I get frustrated that I don't have enough sleep. And now that I'm saying this out loud, what's coming up for me is I think I maybe self-sabotage my time. And that sounds really shitty to say because, again, it's the self, it's me doing it to myself. But you know me, I tend to take on a lot. And not only on top of that with work, but like with my relationships with like my loved ones and my friends. It's not that I have a hard time saying no, but I genuinely want to be at all these things and doing all these things. And it's really easy for me to make connections with people, and I will keep those connections. And even if I haven't talked to someone in like weeks, months, we'll still stay connected. And then I'll be like, it's almost like Tetris. I'm like, where can I fit you in my schedule? And I'm thinking like, oh, it's a week out. Like I just had a gal, I haven't talked to her in maybe 2 years, and I've had so much go on this healing journey. And it's really cool because her and I met right when shit was hitting the fan with me, and she was going through something similar. And she lives in New Zealand. But we would like, I know, but we like built this connection and stayed in touch. And like, we would have these chats where both of us were going through these deeply transformative times, and then we lost touch. And then she just reached back out like this week, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, I want to connect. Like I feel like I just lived 10 lifetimes. And she's like, the same, let's connect. And she's like, can we do it this time next week? And I'm like, oh, I want to say yes, but I know I've got my work, I'm getting ready to go out of town. Like, oh my gosh. And it's just this, again, I think I self-sabotage my time sometimes from overbooking myself. But it's all the things I want to do. So that's that's like where I find myself. Yeah.
I think the key there is self-sabotaging could be a protection. Are you favoring being with your friends and being with yourself? Is there something you are afraid by staying with yourself? Or is it just because you have the fear of missing out? I'm just throwing out ideas there. And also, it's not by saying no, right? Like, let's, for example, next week you are overbooked with work, and you look at your calendar and you're thinking, if I say no now, there will never be any opportunity, right?
Right. Yeah.
So maybe it's about saying, hey, next week is maybe not the best time, but I still, would love to meet with you. And you look at your calendar and say, okay, would in 2 weeks be okay? In 3 weeks be okay? You will create your calendar while still allowing your time. You may be doing less during the week because you need that time as a me time, as a time to, really relax and I'm trying to find the word, but energize yourself. So when you are going to be with her, you won't feel guilty. You won't feel guilty because of work. You won't feel guilty because you don't have your me time. You won't be fully exhausted. And I feel that following your flow, so you are more, from my understanding, you are more an evening person.
Yes.
Right. I am not. Like, if you ask me to work on a project in the evening, it's going to be, I think, one of the worst projects. Like, I would rather get up at 3 a.m. and work all morning. That's how I did. I have a project management certificate. And to study for that, while I was working, I would get up at 4. That's how I do. That's when my mind is fresh. But not everyone is the same. So if for you, your me time is in the evening, maybe it's by honoring that.
Yeah.
And not pushing yourself on saying, hey, I have to get up early. I have to get up early. You could still do all those things, but it's going to be in the evening.
Right.
Like it's by following what what your body tells you. If your body tells you that you're exhausted, obviously there is something that you need to shift. And if you are lacking sleep because you're going to go to bed at 3 a.m., and waking up at 6, then yes, definitely something will need to change there. However, it's about finding the flow that fits for you and you
Yeah.
only.
Yeah.
And from there also you will be able to see, hey, the evenings I was still, I don't know, giving my yoga classes, or I've still kept myself so busy that I don't have the time to wind down. It could be also something like this, where you need this time to wind down that you don't take. So maybe that's why you don't feel like going to bed. Because when you're on a go, go, go during the day, once, you cannot come home from work or being with a friends, like you're so energized, coming home and then, oh, here's my bed.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult. You need some time to unwind.
Yeah.
So that's something also where you can see, hey, am I overbooking myself during the day where I don't have time to unwind, so I can go to a reasonable time at night?
Oh man, Steph. Yes. Yes, I see it. And it's interesting for me. I feel like I love that you're saying all this because it's a good reminder for me. As you're saying it, it feels familiar, like things I know, but I think I'm just forgetting it, or maybe I'm deprioritizing it. But you're so right. And the part about filling my time with other people, I am, because I just love being around people and I draw energy from others. I know that. But I don't think it's me avoiding me time, because I'm also pissed I don't have me time. Like I want all of it, you know what I mean? And I don't think I have a good synergy with all of it right now. And I think this is a point in my life where, for example, when you're like, oh, could you just tell that friend, like maybe in 2 weeks, my mind is like, oh, well, next week I'll be out of town. Then the week after that, I'm moving, and I'm like, wow, this is a lot of stuff you have going on. And it's just like, when do I have a month where I don't have anything planned? And could I even just not make commitments or plans and just have a month, not a reset, but almost just like another little inward journey time? Because I don't think I've done much in the way of being on the receiving end, meaning a lot of that sitting in stillness, or like when I began kind of my healing journey a couple years ago, I would just go sit at a lake and watch the birds. And to me, meditation wasn't exactly like clearing my mind out and thinking about nothing. It was getting so far, actually physically, away from the work, the to-do list, the things I needed to do, being in my apartment and seeing, oh, I need to do this, 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 like being so far removed where I'm just sitting in a place that's serene, that's in nature. And then what thoughts come in? Because to me, the thoughts that would come in when I'm in nature are completely different than if I'm sitting in my living room. It's if I'm sitting in my living room, it's like, oh yeah, did you get laundry done? Oh my gosh, remember you were going to organize your books in this way? Oh my gosh, did you unload the dishwasher? But if I'm sitting out in nature with birds, it's like those thoughts, I don't know, like it's almost like not solving the world's problems, but like, or not my own problems, but it's just you get these different kind of downloads, if you will, or different thoughts that come in and you're like, I feel like I have allowed space for those thoughts to come in. So now that I'm saying that, I recognize that when the hell was the last time I did that? So that's a really good reminder that is a good way for me to have me time. And I definitely understand what you mean about being energized. And I am a night person sometimes. And it's interesting too, because my partner is not. Yeah, and it's a new relationship. So he's similar to you, to where he's like, gets in bed and is like, I want to be in bed early, and I am waking up in the morning and I'm going to be out the door by this time. And I'm like, why are we going to bed this early? Oh my God. And I'm like, I don't want to wake up that early. So it's interesting adjusting to that too. And maybe you're right, like when you said be true to your own flow. So that may need to be a conversation instead of me trying to not be a chameleon, but like, be adaptable. Recognize that, okay, maybe I'm not going to get in bed until this time, or I'm going to take me time. Well, you get in bed, and then maybe I need an hour me time to wind down from the
Well,
day.
that's my husband and I are the complete opposite. We've always have been. So now that we have a child, is a little bit different, but he is much more of a night owl than I, I've never been. To be honest, since I think I was born, I go in bed at 9 p.m. or around 9 p.m. That's my time. And even if I want to, I can push myself, but I have my slump always at that time. And then, when I'm out with friends, I will push myself, and then the slumps goes away, and you can, stay up for a few hours. But we've always been the opposite. And what I loved, and initially I felt guilty because my time is my time, and my body, I'm yawning, I have a hard time keeping my eyes up open, so I would say, well, I'm going to bed. And one day he said, well, that's okay because I do my own things. So then I realized that he has his me time. Ooh, my microphone. He has his me time while I have my me time too because I'm going to bed. And in the morning, I will get up. I have my me time while he's sleeping. And honestly, it never impacted us in any way. And to the point where, like back in the days, long before kids, where he would be playing video games while I would be sleeping on the couch next to him. And I loved that moment. I was sleeping, but I loved it. Like falling asleep there, like next to him while he was playing. There was something magical there. And I'm sleeping. And we still talk about those moments.
Oh.
So, and to that day, it's still true, where I go to bed, he has his thing, and, sometimes I wake up to go to the bathroom at 11 p.m. and he's still up, and I'm like, hey, all good, yes, okay, and I go back to bed. So, yeah, and it's been working for us.
Okay. I hear you. I like that because I think I've just been trying to match, like get us to match, you know what I mean? Which is interesting. Now that I think about that, I'm like, why am I doing that? Because he'll be like, oh man, like yawning, and he's like, it's getting pretty late. And I'm like, it is almost 9. I'm like, because how you said you could wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning, like I would stay up till midnight. I would sacrifice the going to sleep because that would be easier for me to know, like, okay, I'm only getting 5 or 6 hours of sleep tonight. And I would still wake up knowing that, being okay. But if I had to wake up at like 3 in the morning, I would be pissed. I'd be like, whatever this project is, I probably wouldn't give it my best because I'd be so angry. So I see now that like I'm the person that would stay up late working on a project rather than waking up early. Same with workouts. I tried to do workouts in the morning. It's just hard for me to do it first thing in the morning. Like I was doing like some 5:30 a.m. stuff. I feel good after it, right? But there was lots of resistance, and it wouldn't ever stick. I could do it maybe 1, maybe 2 weeks, but then I'd be like, and I'm over that.
Mm-hmm. For me, it's the opposite. I do my workouts in the morning. And for a very long time, it was around 5:30 when I was studying after work or before I had a child, basically. But it's been always harder for me because, well, the classes were there, and I was tired. So I could not go back home. I had to go directly from work to the class, or I would not go, period. So that's, but now I can't do that with a child. So I
Yeah.
won't go in the evening. Even though I found that working out, because I push myself very hard, I do have a slump at some point where I'm exhausted. So I considered trying to work out in the evening, but then with everything that is happening, the food and like I can't, work out when I ate. So it's much more of a struggle, and I cannot go at 9 p.m. Like I can't. I need, and for me, that's the hardest part is I do need to sacrifice some activities that are in the evening. And now I can say I used to do Toastmasters. Toastmasters is a way to practice your public speaking. And I've been missing since January for various reasons. And now I decided not to renew my membership because I know that when I go to this meeting, I can't sleep after. I have a hard time falling asleep. So I will fall asleep around like 11 or sometimes midnight, which is very difficult for me. And then I do insomnia because it's like my mind never shuts. I don't have my wind up time. And I try to, to watch TV after, read a book, like listen to a podcast, more, not a heavy listening podcast, but more something like funny. And nothing seemed to work. So now I'm not renewing the Toastmasters. I haven't gone. If I had something very important or earlier planned in the next morning, I wouldn't go. So why am I a member in the end? And I really enjoyed while I was in the Toastmasters meeting. But the consequences after, for me, are too great. And even there, I'm meeting with friends on Friday at 7:30 p.m. And my fear, and sometimes I'm thinking maybe it's a fear that I'm creating, but at the same time, it's my entire experience has been there, where I know I'm gonna have a hard time falling asleep after because I'm so excited. And I know my Saturday will be more difficult. I already know that. So I already know that I have to go with the flow on the Saturday. But I can't put too much things there. No hard, brainy stuff. Because it's a Saturday, that's okay. But so that's the inconvenience, at least for me, where I'm not an evening person. But when I do things that excites me, it has consequence.
Yeah. That's so true because you're in that like heightened state of excitement and fulfillment, and your energy tank is full, and it's like, what are we going to do with all this energy? And you're like, oh, it's bedtime, and your body's like, no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, our podcast recording is the same, right? I had mentioned it at some point, like I can't do evening or very few because I love our recordings. I love it really, really much. But then I have so much consequence. So I'm like, yeah, if we could try to avoid it in the evenings, but most of the things happens in the evening.
Yeah.
If you want to take a class, if you want to, go dance, if you want to meet friends, like you are working during the day, right? Like it's busy. You have the kids to take care. So most of the things happen in the evening.
That's so true. And I like that you brought this up because this just made me remember my friends and I were talking about this, that I don't know if it's across the US or where we saw it, but there's starting to be these, it's like the shift from, like, we're in our 40s, and I don't know if this is true for you, but when I was in my 20s, it was like you were out at the bars or the clubs or whatever at nighttime. That's where you were socializing. But now it's like in these times, there are all these like coffee places opening up early in the mornings where they'll have DJs and everything. So it's still that environment of like when we would go to the bars and the clubs or whatnot. But one, it's sober. Two, it's in the morning time. And you're just like meeting at these coffee and tea places and you're still having like the vibe and the music and the socializing. But one, it's just in a different setting and then it's in the daytime.
Yes. Hmm.
So because I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to go to one of those and just see. And I was like, how fun would that be? And you just start your day, like maybe like 6 a.m. You go and meet your friends, and there's like some good music on, and you're like feeling good. And then you do that for an hour or so, and then you go to work, and then you're just energized for work or something. Or this is how it plays out in my head. Like, even if I don't have the caffeine, again, I draw energy from others. So that could, ironically, I could be going to this like coffee shop party, not having caffeine, but just, socializing, and the music is very energizing for me too. And then starting my day that way. Like, I don't think I would hit snooze if I was going to one of those, like a morning party, which is interesting to think about because I would say it feels for me like kind of conditioning that it's like, you have your 8 to 4, your 9 to 5, whatever, like it needs to start at this time. And now that I'm saying this, especially after managing people and understanding that everyone you manage, or even people you work with, everyone is motivated by different things. And so we always focus on that, like find out what motivates your people and play to their strengths. But we don't really think about their internal body clock, right?
Hmm.
Like sometimes you'll get written up, or, like, hey, you were 30 minutes late today, or like, it's this person stays late every day, or why do they stay late? I don't think we think about that as often as maybe we should, that everyone has different internal clocks, and maybe some people on the team will be there at 7 a.m. and they want to cut out at 3, and then maybe some people won't come in till 10, but you're probably getting the best of them by doing that. And I know some industries that won't work, right? Like there are certain hours, but I
But the
don't
thing,
know.
I love what you share, and I think that's so true. And honestly, I think in every industry it could work. Because
Right.
I think even, the doctors, or you could create a schedule that it's based on them, and you could hire more people in the end because, well, you will need to fill the gaps. You will need to have, let's say, 10 people during the day and 10 people during the evening. But I'm sure that you will be able to find those people that feel, everything that you need, all the needs that you need to have. You will find people that will fill the gaps while respecting. And that's what I love. I mean, I come from the first company that I worked with. If I was late by 2 minutes, they would tell me, because they were so, I wouldn't say dependent of me, but they were waiting for, I don't know, review calculus or have a signature. So after working there for 7 years, I became very, very sticky on timing. And when I started to work remotely from the second company I worked for, and initially I was like, oh my God, it's 8:01, 8:01, I'm late. And my husband was like, it's 8:01. No one is waiting for you, right? Like you, it's 8:01. You're not late. And I was very, very sticky on the time. I'm still very sticky on the time, even to my own life, to the point where I am right now, as we speak. I'm debunking where I'm too strict. I've been working on that, where I'm not flexible enough, and where I'm too pushy on myself and others to be on time. And because sometimes it can be a struggle, especially with kids and in the morning. And I was saying that to my husband. Was it this morning? Yeah, it was this morning. Because I say, I'm trying so hard not to be constantly saying, go eat breakfast, go eat breakfast. It's, 7:10, go eat breakfast. It's 7:11, go eat breakfast. And it's what you hear every morning, to the point where I joked and I took my, voice memo and I recorded myself saying, go eat breakfast, go eat breakfast. And I was playing it because I'm a broken record, like every morning. And I'm trying so hard to tell it once and then to give, the flexibility, because my son is not like me. It takes time. Depends. When he really has a great night, he would wake up like fresh, and I don't have to say twice. Some morning, which are rare, goes very smoothly. But some mornings, most of the mornings, I have to go several times to waking up. I have some, times, we have half an hour to get ready. Actually 45 minutes to get ready. But I give him like up to 20 minutes to have it slower in the morning. But still, it seems like it's not enough. And then, I see the time moving and I'm like, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. And then eat, brush your teeth, brush your teeth. So I've been working on that. And I think it's Kate Northrup who has a saying that it's called time bending, where when you are stressed for time, you could imagine that the time is stretching for you. So I'm trying to work on that, meaning, so what she was explaining, and I hope that I'm saying it right, because I may not, but is if you stick on one timing and you get anxious about that, it seems like the time is running out because you're too focused on it. But if you are allowing, time to be and not being that obsessed about the time, even if it's 1 minute more or less, and you are not stressed about it, you're going to manage to have things done in a timely manner and you won't be late. So, because you still have the same time, right? But that's the time bending, where basically you are less stressed about the time. So by stressing others less, that's my interpretation, where by stressing others and yourself less for the time, you will get more results and you will get there on time. And what if you don't get it on time? It's not the end of the world as well.
I love that. Because it's almost like permission to eliminate the stress. Because think about how much time stressing about something takes. You can spend a lot of time freaking out about something rather than just being like, okay, it's going to be okay. Or maybe this, that's another thing too, is maybe this slowing down or pushing back the time I'm going to be arriving somewhere or doing something is actually in my favor. You know what I mean? Because what if you would have left the house at 7 and you would have sat in a really bad accident and gotten there at 7:30, and then if you left at 7:15, you would have avoided all that and still got there at the same time. It's like that kind of stuff where, I mean, easier said than done. To stop in the middle of a high stress situation where because I don't like to be late either. Like, to me, that saying of like, if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. That's probably a limiting belief, or like, something I should probably, is this serving me? I don't know where I'm going with that. But train just left the station again.
Okay.
Oh no.
But I think there is a learning opportunity everywhere, and I love, not that I love, but because it stresses me, but I'm impressed, I will say, by the people that are not stressed about time. Like my husband, he's not stressed. Like, I'll get there. They're gonna take me, even if I'm late for the appointment, and if they don't take me, worst case scenario, I'm going to have another appointment. So I would love to have that philosophy, but I just don't. And even to the point where I was interviewing and it was back-to-back meetings, and I told them, well, it's, let's say 9:30, I have to go because I have another meeting and I don't like to be late. I mean, I'm interviewing, but I'm like, or if I'm late, because that does happen sometimes where you are caught in meetings and it's very important and you just can't leave. So I will do everything to let that other person that I will be late. So that's the way I am, but sometimes I feel that I'm too strict. And that's where I would love to use the time bending and be more like, okay, that's okay. It's okay, have less stress and have smoother mornings. And regarding to that too, this morning I was so impressed by my son. And it was both funny and at the same time I had my voice that says, damn, he's taking so much time. Because he needed to watch his face. And, as adults, we take the thing, I don't know how you call it. We call it gone toilet. So you take the cloth, and you rinse it, you wash it, and you're done. Takes 30 seconds max. And he was taking the cloth and talking to himself in the mirror, and then, I don't know, making a face. And then finally, after, 3 minutes, he wet it. He put water on it. And then he put that on my glasses because it was fun. And he was laughing. Look at that, Mom. I'm like, wash your face. But he was having so much fun. And, I was half laughing because he was talking to himself and he ended up washing his face. So the goal was obtained, but it took him, honestly, I think 10 minutes. And in all there, I was there in my mind like, wash your face, we have to go. But at the same time, I was like, I would love to see myself doing that. Because he was appreciating all the moments, taking his time, having fun in doing a chore, something that he may not like. And I think the kids in general set up such a great example in doing that, being in the present moment, making fun of something that is not fun. And as adults, we should get more of it. Yet, if every action was like this, we wouldn't be doing anything. Because everything will take at least 10 minutes. At least.
That's so beautiful, though, because when you were telling me that story, I was thinking that. I was like, he's just being so present. And I think kids, like you said, kids do a great job of that, of just being very present, kind of that no filter, like this is what I'm thinking and feeling right now, or this is where my attention is going right now. So I love that. And it's so cool, too, to hear that it's like, to me, what you just shared about, that you sometimes you feel too strict or something or set in that. And then here you have little buddy who's like, look at this, look at this. You know what I mean? It's like a little built-in reminder of like that being present and that, that childlike wonder about like, simple little things like the cloth that you wash your face with and like talking to yourself in the mirror. Fun little things like that. I love that.
Yeah. So take the example of every kid.
Yes. Well, and it's funny too. I'll just bring this up shortly because it just came up, but I did a somatic coaching session. So this coach that I work with every now and then, we sometimes will do inner child work. And I think I shared this with you, where I was feeling kind of overwhelmed with a lot of the tasks I have going on in my world right now. Again, it's a very packed schedule of my own doing. And so we did this inner child where I tapped in, and here's my 4-year-old self. And it's me and my 4-year-old self, and we're just like in the outdoors, and we're crouched down looking at ladybugs and looking at all of the bugs crawling and touching the trees and the grass, and it's beautiful. And then my coach was walking me through like, okay, how would 4-year-old Ashley respond to like your task list that you need to get done? And then I just saw my 4-year-old self, like her little silly ponytail and little blonde bangs, and she had those fat Crayola markers, and was just kind of like her hand on her hip. And it's like, okay, well, we're going to have to get these things done, but let's just do them in a fun way. Like, who cares? Let's write down the list of what we need to do in different colors and think about them in a fun way. And it was like, dang, yes, instead of me being so like, ugh, this is my list of things I need to do, how can I bring joy into it? How can I make it more fun and tap into that younger version of me that it's like, you're going to have to do it anyway, right? You're going to get it done. So why not change the way you view it and you think and feel about it? Again, probably easier said than done on some of the tasks, but it was a good reminder for me to not take things so seriously and to try to find the joy in it. Like, I'm going to be doing it anyway. So why not just have fun doing it or find a way to make it more fun?
Finding the joy in the everyday tasks.
Yeah.
That is such a great reminder.
Yes.
I loved this conversation. As always, we could talk forever.
I know. Yeah.
I can't wait to hear what our next episode will be about. So
I know, and I'll have to update you on. I think I'm going to try to implement some of the things that we talked about today. Honoring my own flow, and not trying to match someone else's. Not that that's a bad thing, but just honoring maybe my bedtime isn't 9 p.m. Maybe my bedtime is 10. And like you said, how you and your husband kind of have your own me times, that kind of bookend your sleeping. That could be the same for me.
Yep.
I really like that.
Yeah. And no snooze.
No snooze.
No snooze.
Maybe I'll just start going to coffee shops and bring my own speaker. I love curating playlists for stuff. Like my yoga classes, I get into that. So maybe I'll just take a little Bluetooth speaker, go to a coffee shop and be like, hey, you guys care if I just like DJ this morning? No, I'm just
Wake
kidding.
up.
Then I wouldn't snooze. I'd be like, yes, I'm going to a party, a morning party.
Well, you could do this in your own living room too.
That's true.
Yeah, you could, if your boyfriend is sleeping, don't do that with a speaker out loud. But
well, he's a morning person.
He's a morning person, so yes, you can. Hey.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Do morning DJ sets. I like this. Okay, I'll have to update you. Because we're moving into a house. Because right now I'm in an apartment, so I'm not sure my neighbors would appreciate it. But we're moving, so I'll have much more space to do that. So, I like this idea, this creativity. I love it.
Yes, can't wait to hear more. Thank you, Ashley. I love our discussions. And
I know.
We'll talk to you very, very soon.
All right, sounds good.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining us on this journey of self-discovery and spiritual awakening. We hope the stories and insights we've shared today have inspired you to embrace your abundant soul and live your life with more presence, purpose, and passion.
Remember, the path to awakening is unique for each of us, but we're all connected by our yearning for deeper meaning and authenticity. So keep an open heart and mind and trust that the universe will guide you exactly where you need to go.
This has been the Abundant Soul Podcast. See you next Sunday as we continue to explore the depths of spiritual awakening and personal growth.